Hello, Hopkinson. I'm so happy to have you here. Howdy, Jeremy. Howdy, Leslie. Howdy, Don. Well, trying to calm me down a little, Jeremy. There you go, Jeremy. That was a truck driving through the water there. Angels, find Leslie's kitty. Bring that kitty home. You know how important cats are to people. All right. Enough of that intro stuff. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. And while we're getting this all loaded up, and take a moment to thank every one of you for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family and to be in the moment with this precious family. Okay, if you've made it to the spiritual report at the end of the show and you've spent a little time maybe practicing some of the techniques and disciplines I've been trying to help you with, you'll see that there's more to this show than meets the eye. And then when you see that, you'll discover how precious indeed this family truly is. Okay, so you guys are special. I hope you know that. Now, let's get down to business. Here we are. This is July 2nd, 2024. Okay, we got the loop playing, and we got all kinds of UFOs coming out. There's one right there with a second. There's one right there. They're coming out at angles like this and straight up and down. Okay? That's why they're hard to see. But if I could flip this whole screen 90 degrees, or maybe if you tilt your head a little bit 90 degrees, you'll see them coming out here. But we will go through this frame by frame and we'll point out everything right there. Okay. They're UFOs are real. Okay. They're part of the whole story. There's the watchers, right? Well, how are they supposed to watch? But from above, well, in their vehicles. So we have other entities in ships, okay, and they interact with the sun too. All right. So let's just catch the opening frame here. I'll let you be the judge of this too, okay? I can say this because I have dealt with UFOs my entire life. Since I was 4 years old, I have been plagued with UFO activity in my life. Okay, so I have seen for my own eyes. It's not until you see one with your own eyes and have your own experience that all of a sudden it changes your life and you realize, oh, there's something more going on. Okay, so just because, well, it is still part of the thing. Okay, it's just not what everybody was expecting. All right, that's Hollywood and science kind of got you pre-programmed a little bit. So here we are, opening frame. We're going to start marching through this. Here we go. Our first little one right here. This might be one of our little spheroids or something, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't have our typical tapering effect. We don't see a nice round black circle. But then here, on this little spire region coming out, is this. Now you can see the indentation goes back very sharp, but we don't have a round circular object. Well, if you tilt your head to the right, though, we have what appears to be kind of a disc-shaped object right there. That's not the best painted one. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, then you'll see a secondary one right here, kind of leaving. There's something right in there. We also have our spire region here, kind of reacting, slow motion, kind of, reaction right here. Meanwhile, this thing popping out, that looks more like one of our round spheroid type. Well, I don't know now. But here we have again in here another one of these disc-shaped objects. It's at an angle. We got stuff zipping all through here. You see this streak way down here, this streak right here, while there's a UFO coming out. And I know because these craft end up over my house the next day, cloaked in the clouds. Right there, there's a good shot. Their cloaking devices cause condensation. Tilt your head to the right a little bit. You can see our craft right in here. All right. And probably next couple of days or so, this craft will show up over my head somewhere, and I'll take a picture of it and whatever, and I'll show you. Okay. But as you can see, it's not our regular black round spheroid. It's a craft with windows on it. Let me get right up in there so we can wave at the people in the windows, okay? Boom. There's your object right there. I'll let you be the judge of this too, okay? You're all grown adults. You've all have your own experiences. Some of you have had some paranormal experiences and are more apt to understand what's going on. You have an open mind because you've had experience. Okay, let's continue on. You can see that leaving. Okay, and that was the closing frame, right? Frames right there was that. This craft right there. All right, now I'm gonna put it back into motion. We'll slow it down a little bit so you can kind of see these things a little slower. Move them over to this side a little better. There we go. Okay, so sometimes we see, you know, our satellites and our bigger objects and stuff like that. And then other times we see craft. We've seen triangle craft. We've seen pyramid shaped stuff. We've seen disc shaped craft. And this is just another round of the disc shaped craft. There are races from across the universe showing up here at Earth for the big event. Okay, and there's some of your audience members showing up right there. Okay, it's like kind of like a movie, you know, the opening of a movie and people filing into the theater and picking out their seats and stuff like that. Well, these are races from across the universe. When you travel star to star, you're using a star, you know, as your arrival point. It's you go from one star to, you know, from one system to another, and you travel star to star, and then once you arrive at the star, then you can travel, you know, out around from it and observe the planets that are orbiting it. Okay, and they're all coming to observe Earth. Okay, they're not here to check out Mars. They're not here to check out Jupiter. They're not here to play badminton on Neptune. They're coming here to Earth because there's a special event that's about to happen. Meanwhile, this activity, CMEs and stuff like that, impact the Earth and cause our effects. Now let's get on over to the solar ham. Kind of not what you expected tonight, but that's what the case was. My frame is offset and it's bugging me. All right, here we go. Let's start off up here with our solar indices. Our solar flux is down 7 points at 164, so it's dropping slowly, but it's dropping. Our sunspot number count is even right now. It's still 192. The area is in the green, so we're all good there. Most of our sunspot activity is all over in this region, right where our IMF line connects. Okay, so we're not too concerned with anything firing off and connecting with our IMF line. So there's that. Let's back out of this. Now, tomorrow, July 3rd, our G1 storm. Okay, they're expecting the G1. I have a feeling it might be one of those rounds where it comes in a little higher. All right. Yeah, that's the problem. All right. Real quick. Well, you can just see this day right here isn't very much. We already saw the activity. It was all a bunch of UFOs. There's a little activity right here going into the next day. You want to go take a little peek at that and see what's going on there? You don't? Well, we're going to do it anyway. So we come over here, click on the third. It's not much. It's only 23 frames, but you can see this glowing spire region. Something's coming out of it right here. See this? And then you see activity coming in right here. See this motion coming towards the sun? It's one of these objects back behind it, approaching it. It's going to bounce off the magnetic field or whatever and ricochet off at some angle. And then look at all the spires that are all around the sun right now. There's a lot of future activity coming. All right. So as you can see, we got lots of activity going on our sun here. Okay, so back to the space or solar ham. So that was this little event right here. We've seen our quiet time, and we're about to see our three object thing again here pretty soon, I think. This is our little downtime. I'll try to remember to show you the crop circle that showed up just lately that represents the configuration that's going on around our sun. But in the meantime, I'll show you this for the moment. So back to our geomagnetic forecast. Don't be surprised tomorrow if it comes in a little bit stronger because they think it's just a side swipe. There's an object accompanying it. It might just be a G1. I would be grateful if it's just a G1. Okay. I don't want a G4. We don't need to be absorbing any more energy. All right. So I don't want it to be bigger than it. But we, here at this channel, we are not surprised when it is a bigger one. Okay. Because of the explanation I just gave you. All right. Moving on. X flare potential 5%, 35 for M. We had the 2.1. That's old news. KP. Wow, we spiked at a 2. That's good. I'm thankful. Auroras are very light right now, so we're not taking on a bunch of geomagnetic energy right now. One thing to be concerned about is now we have this 3729 has gone beta gamma delta. All right, so let me go look up. Is it 29? Yeah, 29. Real quick here. Where'd it go? There's 30 and 28. I don't even see it on here. Oh, right in the middle. Duh. Right here. So this one right here is now going beta, gamma, delta. All right. We got the delta configuration. That means the two polarities are getting close to each other. So center disk just south of the equator. That's right where we're positioned. So we could possibly see a little something maybe out of that. All right. Because it's now beta, gamma, delta. All right. Happy Valentine's Day is not until February, but do you see the heart? Isn't that cool? Because I love you. All right. Valentine's Day, it's not until February, but the sun wanted to show us a little love with this heart-shaped plasma structure. This was the result of a filament eruption within the past few hours near the northwest limb. Other than happy thoughts, no major impacts should be expected. Okay? Nothing happens by coincidence. Everything is part of the process. Okay? You see signs in the sun. Anything around the sun is a sign. Okay? So this is off of the sun. It's a sign, and it's pretty cool. Showing you some love. Should we open the tracker? All right, so this side swipe right here that they're showing, and it's showing going below the planet, all right, south of the Earth or underneath the South Pole. Our object that's accompanying it might travel along with the CME underneath the Earth. So we could see our geomagnetic impact might be more on the southern hemisphere, is what I'm saying. So when we come back up to the D-layer absorption map here, we would probably expect to see this region down at the south fire a little bit more than the region to the north. You know how sometimes we see the region on the north pole all red, and this one's down here is yellow or green. It might be the opposite way this time because the object will be traveling underneath the South Pole of the Earth or in the southern region, not necessarily under the Earth. It could travel off to the left. It could travel through this here. This is going to be our example. It could travel, along that side, but underneath. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to go right directly underneath it. It could be off to one side, but it's going to be underneath the Earth, affecting the southern half absorption, I think. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what plays out tomorrow on the 3rd here. Also, whatever does come in, geomagnetic energy will enhance the weather tomorrow. Okay? Could cause bombogenesis tomorrow. Especially if there's a hurricane out there or something, you might see increase in the strength of a hurricane, if there's one out there, it could possibly happen on the 3rd. If it's a G1, the bombogenesis won't be as intense. If we have G2, G3, G4, hopefully not a G5, but anything like that will increase it even more. You understand? Oh, good. But right now, everything's quiet. That's good. We're just, we got a little love. We're just waiting on this impact. So we come back over to, or come over here to solar or geomagnetic storm watch, the G1 class geomagnetic storm possible on the 3rd. Okay, it's still kind of the same article. I pray it's a G1. I don't mind being wrong for the sake of less absorption. Okay, I will take that any day. All right, pretty cool sprites right here going off. Green ghosts in the geomagnetic storm. This picture may be the first of its kind. On June 27th, photographer Tom Warner of South Dakota caught a bunch of green ghosts in a geomagnetic storm. I guess that's these? Or no, up here probably, above the sprites. This is a huge bucket list item for me. MSM thunderstorm was moving through the area, so I set up my camera to photograph sprites. The auroras and the green ghosts were not expected. So he got the auroras, he got the sprites, and then I guess up here at the top are the green ghosts. Everyone knows that auroras are green ghosts, are still new to many observers. I thought I was talking about maybe this little green glow up in here. Because you ever seen that before? The sprite that's red turn into green up at the top? They're talking about auroras. They're the green blobs on top of the red sprites. Never mind. Green ghosts are still new to many observers. They are the green blobs on top of the red sprites. Experience, okay, the auroras and the green ghosts were not expected. Oh. So I was right. It's these little green things up there. I should have just finished reading the article. Tom Warner's green ghost is very clear and certainly an unusual sight. Combined with the auroral, Oscar Van, the upper atmospheric lightning researcher at the University of Green ghosts were discovered in May of 2019. All right, you can come over there and finish reading the article. Now let's get over here to the Schumann. All right. Sorry, I've just been experiencing technical difficulties with this computer all day. I wanted to go live earlier. Just wouldn't let me. So, we had our little event the other day, came out of it, a little weakness, got back to good continuity, and now we've had another buildup of pressure, another grinding event, a good release right here. You see a sudden drop off, and then as a steady buildup, and then drop off again. So we had pressure build up. You see this little stripe right there? The first one, that's a release of pressure. Then a build up and a release. Another small tapering build up with another release on the end right there. A little bit of grinding, as it fades away. But now we're getting back to, I was going to say good continuity, but I see something forming right here on the very edge. So we just came out of a session. It looks like we're going to go back into another grinding session here. So, Jeremy, your ebb and flow, your day going up and down and stuff and being weird, even though it's not like you having a bad day, it's other factors, okay? This intense energy right here messes with people, all right? We're all used to a nice, steady 7.83. These weak and then normal, a little stronger, normal, super strong, and then all this fluctuation. It's like it plays with your moods. It's like on a roller coaster, up and down and up and down. And this is one of the reasons why the spiritual report at the end, the tools that I'm teaching you how to salvage your day, is because of this very effect. All right. there are outside factors in the earth that are messing with your mood. Okay. And it's important that you know how to recognize, oh, I'm not feeling right. Something's weird today. I'm feeling irritable. I'm feeling very, confrontational. I want to argue or argumentative or something like that, is because this stuff's going on. So you use the tools, accept what's going on. You try to salvage your day and then go about it until, the next thing happens. It's just what we got to do. Okay. So we did have a buildup of pressure. Okay. We had 3 good releases too. This first little line that breaks the separates the white right there, that's a release of pressure. It builds back up, starts grinding really hard. Sudden release. There's another pressure. Tapers and builds back up, sudden release. Starts to go again, finally releases and bleeds out. Now we're starting to build again. Okay, so whoa. Not even yet. Take that down. Okay, so as you can see, we have our upper jet stream here. Okay, and it's doing its wonky little up and downs and troughs and dips and everything like that, but it's no longer in control of our weather. So as we go further down, excuse me, you'll see the correlation here. But then as we get down to where our weather patterns are, it no longer is controlling our weather patterns. Our thermal vortexes are what's controlling our weather patterns now. Okay. We talked about our big conveyor belt out here. Okay. And it's already picking up hurricanes and driving them into this region. This one back here is like an invest or whatever. It hasn't gone hurricane yet. But we got rotation going out here. And this vortex, if you look, it has changed since last night. It's very strong right in this region. The inside conveyor has kind of gone. It's really on this conveyor loop right now. All right. And there's a reason why. I'll show you our thermal patch here in the center of this has intensified. And it's created more of the tighter rotation here. So we'll get to that in a minute, though. Meanwhile, let's look around. We have this hurricane here coming through. I want you to just follow the wind patterns, okay? It has a chance of getting pulled away and going across here. All right, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Most of the dominant flow is going to take it right up through there. Okay, and thankfully we don't have a second one and a third one and a fourth one already, in line. But it's starting to kind of take shape there. The fact that this vortex tightened up, it's not as broad, has kind of weakened this trajectory a little bit. We'll get to that. Let's look around. We got a couple of storms up here that are spiraling around. Air going around that, comes off, goes into this, goes off, comes into that. Kind of like a little infinity loop right there. Anyways, we got another big old storm right here, cranking out in the North Pacific here. Another storm forming right here. Now, we have our heat anomaly running through this region, creating our conveyor belt like this. And these are the storms that are hopping on the conveyor belt. We also have a split in it, driving stuff right up over. Look at that. It drives it up, over, and then down into America. So these two little vortexes have shunted stuff up and over and then down. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 storms right there. We still have this whole current, this whole air current doing this effect still. Look down here. Watch out, tip of Australia. They're starting to get some nasty weather down there. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over now to our chemicals. No, we're going to do the sandstorm real quick. Okay, so as you can see, it's like a big old arm with a fist reaching out and punching the Caribbean with sand. And it seems to be hampering some of our productivity, right? Because you can see this first hurricane cleared out the sand and got some air to breathe. The second one's trying, but the sand's overwhelming it. So that one's getting suppressed. You see this fourth rotation right here. That one's getting kind of suppressed by sand. This one's getting suppressed by sand. But you can still see there are 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the southern part of this conveyor belt, and there are 4 on the northern part of this conveyor belt. Okay, so there's your sandstorm. This vortex right here, as it grows in intensity, it's going to pull more sand off this and just continue this effect all the way across. And when you see the conveyor belt going, up through here and up into America, well, it's bringing this Sahara sand all the way across the Atlantic and up into America. Let me turn off the wind. And you see what I'm saying? And it's blown this plume all the way up to Canada. And there's more coming. So we are seeing the conveyor belt effect, but we are seeing the sand kind of hamper the cyclonic growth, the convection. And look how this one's totally clear. You can see the stages. Totally clear, semi-clear, pretty congested, very congested. They're all just... And this looking reminiscent of an arm with a fist about to punch or whatever. When this conveyor belt system gets, very dominant and established this summer. Look out. So let's, there's your sandstorm. Let's come on over to the SO2 now. And here we are. Our country divided. A little clearing up in this area. We got all the storms that are moving through that area, kind of blowing the gas around and kind of clearing it out. But we got some flooding up here that's blocked some of the patches. But there's your country divided. This side bleeding out. You can see some flooding in these regions have blocked up some of the patches. All right. But all in all, we're still seeing a fair amount of SO2 coming out of the ground. You kind of pick your region. And then here we're going to have to do the ugly truth a little bit more and more now. So you guys will understand. SO2 emissions come out of the ground super hot, okay, because it's gas that's been down at the surrounding the magma. So when it comes up through the surface, it's so hot, surrounding vegetation can spontaneously combust, starting fires. Okay, so a lot of these forest fires this summer are going to be started from underground because of SO2 emissions. It's happening already up here. You see it happening up in there too. And it's not, this isn't smoke from fires. This is SO2. Okay, this is the gas coming out of the ground is starting the fires. A lot of people think it's dew weapons or whatever. I don't think they're showing a lot of the... Oh, there they are. There's some over here in Russia too. Okay, so it's not just ours. It's sparking fires over here and stuff too. Let's go back to America though, please. You have to forgive me. We're having a little technical difficulties tonight, so. All right, let me take off the fires now and get back to our SO2 report. All right, now, so America, patchiness here and there. I want to kind of look at what's going on along the west coast here. We still got a couple little sites coming out like Mount Hood, the Bay Area here. This area has actually kind of grown, which means inbound pressure coming in from the Juan de Fuca will emit SO2 and maybe save them from a powerful quake. A couple little other sites getting pretty strong right along there. Meanwhile, I want to take a look at the Sierra Nevada range right through there. Down by Mammoth, we're seeing SO2 emissions. This little region right there. That's a mountain not far from me. All right, let's come on over to Hawaii because you got friends here in Hawaii. And Oahu, the main source of the SO2, the volcano here at Oahu, emitting most of the SO2, a little bit out of Maui and the main island. We've seen quake flurries here at the main island, and then also the volcanic fissure that opened up there that released pressure. Okay, like a bicycle rim, the Pacific Rim is like a bicycle rim, and in the middle is a hub, and Hawaii would be the hub. Now, let's adjust for their time zone real quick. Okay, so China still very dark, having a lot of SO2 emissions, a lot of pressure bleeding out through the ground right there. It has spread up through these regions now, and you got very intense patches up in here now. Look at this area starting to break out. All these dark patches right here, this is kind of new. So another region, a lot of gas coming out of Russia up there. All of these places are starting to darken in now too. Look at Europe. It's got, perforations all over the place. Here's Saudi Arabia having their issues. Look at India. As if 125 degrees isn't bad enough, make it SO2. All right, now down here, Malaysia is filling in. We have this very dark spot at the tip. Sumatra is filling in. We have the island of Java that we use as our little gauge. It's all purple right now with, 2 spots of intensity at the end here. So we got pressure. We saw the grinding. We saw it on the Schumann. We have pressure buildup, and it's relating in this map. Okay, there's Australia bleeding out too, except maybe in the outback, in the very middle. But over here is this island. It's the entrance to our plate tectonic system, and it does a lot of the bleeding off of pressure as it enters the system. And we'll get back. I'll show you this when we get to our earthquake report. Okay, there's SO2. Now, everybody take a deep breath. We're going to do it. We got to do this. I want now. Thank you. And we'll start without the winds. All right. Surface temperature anomaly map. We have a big, huge yellow bar growing out here in the Pacific again. All right. It was like this maybe a month ago. We had a new perforation hole that relieved pressure in the area, and the temperature dropped. Well, now it's climbing back up and getting more organized. This is the central part of the conveyor belt. Okay, this heat plume causes the air to rotate around it like this. Okay, and then it picks up storm after storm. The storms like to ride that conveyor belt. And I showed you our are jet streams coming in, boom, 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 all zip, diving in, but they usually come in this way. All the weather that's approaching the coast turns right here and does a 180 and goes back out. So, not many storms are approaching the west coast. They're starting to get a heat wave out here, though, because air that's coming over off this hot air is coming over and coming down and circling back around, comes over. So, the west coast is having a heat wave, while this region is going to be getting nice and moist. Okay, so other ones, we got heat, something going on in the Hudson Bay. Obviously, some kind of perforation in the crust, bleeding magma up in the Hudson Bay. It squeezed cold water to one side, and the other side's all hot water. Look it up here. We're inside the Arctic Circle, and we have hot tub water up there. Okay, you can go hot tubbing out in the ocean right there. It'd probably burn you. Be a little too hot. Here we are off the coast of Alaska. All right. Hot water all along the coast of Alaska. We had a little perforation bust out right here in the middle of this gulf right here, and it had a vortex rotating around it for a little while. Now it's kind of died down in intensity, but it's still there. A little perforation here. This looks like a new little perforation right here. We need more of them to relieve all of this, because this was at about this stage before, and it did reduce. So this can, go backwards if we get a little release of pressure. Meanwhile, looking over here underneath LA and underneath the Baja here, it's all heating up. But then at the very tip is some of the coldest water in the world. It's at the tip of Baja California. Go figure. The water down here is supposed to be like the water over here. Meanwhile, speaking of the water over here, we have, maybe this cold water is bleeding out and coming out over here or something, but we do have this little cold water plume. This has been a saving grace. I'll tell you what, because as these hurricanes come through here, all right, they're going to hit Jamaica. They're going to wipe out these islands. I already have. This first one has done quite a number. Imagine 10 more. All right, so those islands will be devastated. These ones will probably have a lot of damage too. Jamaica is in the target, in the crosshairs right now as we speak. Then, as it gets through here, it wants to go across the Gulf here. Let me put the winds back on now. It wants to come through here, go across the Yucatan Peninsula. When they go across land, they lose strength. It'll be going over cooler waters. Don't get me wrong, this water's still warm, but it's not yellow like this, thankfully. It's black and blue. So it's really going to lose, it's not going to gain a lot of strength coming through here. So when it comes along, brushes up against Jamaica, goes across the peninsula, it's going to lose some strength right there before it hits the coast, thankfully. So say it comes in here, well, this is still some pretty hot water. It's what, category 4 right now. It'll come 4, 3, 2. Might come on shore as a 2. Hopefully. This will be some kind of saving grace a little bit for however long it holds out. But meanwhile, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. Do you see how much it grew from last night? Do you see the intensity of this vortex now? It is really tightened up now to this region. A lot of the strength that was going out here has been lost. It's really kind of just like a tornado tightens up. You see broad rotation at first, but then the rotation gets tighter and tighter. It's like a skater, an ice skater, doing a spin with her arms out, and then as she pulls her arms in, she starts to spin faster and faster. So the more heat we see here, the more organized thermal vortex we will see. Okay, and I titled this thermal vortex because that's what you are looking at. Okay, the effects of this are devastating. I've talked about some of the effects we could possibly see. At this stage right now, seeing as how this is more of a central spot and not like an elongated bar shape like this, you see what I'm saying? The center of rotation is tightening up. You see it causing another rotation here, almost. It's causing stuff to dip down and go up. But it's still inducing this huge conveyor belt type structure around it, around the outside of it. If this area stays nice and cool, we might actually see this little door kind of close off, and the more organized this is, the more this will want to hug closer to it. So you'll see possibly this storm door close off and it hug the coast more because there's heat along the coast. So it might focus a little more on the inside track here in a little while. And you can see the conveyor belt type structure going through here is what's causing spin ups. It causes rotation in the air already, which the storms love. You know, they as they produce, they cause their own rotation. And if the air is already rotating, well, then the hurricane genesis, the forming of one can go a lot smoother, a little easier. So hot water anomalies out here. This is right where we have our three-way plate convergence right there, and we have a leak in the zipper of the earth. And it kind of in a bad spot here because it's in between New York and the East Coast and, well, all of this area here. So all these coastlines right here going to be rough. Even over here, they're seeing rough weather because of these heat-induced thermal vortexes. See this plume out here? This has now stretched it out. Okay, when you see these storms matching the heat signatures, that's very disturbing. The heat from the ocean does indeed, steer our storms and generate storms, but this is going to generate a standing storm structure where storms will just keep repeating over the same area over and over and over again, as long as this structure, this conveyor structure stays like it is. And then this one growing in intensity. Let's do that real quick here. So, whoops, we can do it just a tad bit better. All right, so here we are at the calendar. I want you to watch this little spot here. Here we are on the 30th. No, that's not what it is. No, that's what it says on the thing, June 30th. All right, so we'll go back a couple of days. All right, so it wasn't as intense. We'll go back a couple more days. So from then until the 30th, it grew and intensified, or it grew in intensity. Now, I want nows. So this configuration was on the 30th. All right, this is to compile this map takes a little while for all the data to come in and compile this map, so it's a few days behind. So this is actually the conditions on the 30th. I'm trying to hit now, but you see 6/30/2024 is our latest data, and we're already getting into the third. So if it intensified that much in those days, what's it looking like right now? What's the map going to look like 2 days from now when we get to see July 3rd? All right, so you see our configuration is kind of changing. We get more leakage. It intensifies the spot, and when one spot gets intensified, the thermal vorticity around it closes up and tightens up. Okay, this is going to be a long summer of hurricane after hurricane coming off of this region. With the sandstorm cutting them down, that could be helping. We might not see, the 8 to 10 going through a conveyor belt system if that sandstorm can continue to hamper them. The intensification of the heat, I think, will override any kind of sand after a while. And what you might start getting are dirty storms, hurricanes that are blowing sand too, because a lot of sand are the particulates that the water adheres to. So you're going to have rain droplets with a little sand particle in the middle of it. So it'll be rain and sand blasted. The more intensified and more organized and condensed this vortex becomes, it stands the chance of becoming its own standing hurricane that would just sit right there, growing an eye wall that would grow around it, okay, that would just sit there and lash this area constantly. It would just be one constant storm. It wouldn't move. It would just sit there and all summer long. So we could possibly see something like that. The backside of this rotation, if it stays in this zone, would be good, because you don't want it to come over to the coast. Then it'll come and start lashing the coast, right? We need to monitor this thing like a hawk. Any little hiccup, any little change in this changes the conveyor belt. You understand that, right? You see how it coming over and dropping down and doing this whole new thing right here in the course of 2 days. It's changed now. Before it was kind of blowing this way. Now we got a new hot area. So any kind of new perforation, say if something busted out right here where this cold water is and we had a hot spot right there, that would be devastating, because then you'd have stuff just rotating right here. So it really depends on where, how much, that determine, where and how much heat that determines the size, the vorticity, the broadness of it, as opposed to being compact. Okay, so we're gonna have to watch this carefully, and then whatever's going on up in here could cause its own weather effects that would, blend in with this in a different way. All kinds of things are in play right now. You see this this air is just like going over the West Coast. It's jumping this whole structure. This air coming off of here is cutting over Alaska and then coming down through Canada into America. So that's cold air being brought down, mixed with warm, moist air. You see where these two things collide? That is a nasty mix. Right here is just going to be tornadoes forming all the time, or not all the time, but you're going to have severe weather in this region all the time from constant moisture and constant cold air. And as we go through summer, this structure, this configuration is going to change. It's changing day to day. But what I can tell you is no matter what, we're still seeing heat out here. We're still seeing Hurricane Genesis happening. It's being quelled by sand right now. Some of it is, but expect probably a busy season. Hopefully this little cool water patch stays. This one stays. This cold water along the coast up here stays, because it's cold water that keeps the vortex kind of, well, at bay a little bit there. See how this area is starting to get its own vortex right here now. So any storms that want to come across the Pacific, just hit this and turn around and go right back out. And the heat coming off, rotating around, is bringing hot air from the north down into California, down into Washington, down into Oregon. You're getting hot air in these regions from the north, not from the south. All your hot air is coming from the north. So your northern regions might be hotter than the southern regions sometimes. Can you see why there? Just the motion of this map speaks volumes. I shouldn't even really have to talk too much. I should just let it sit there and rotate and let you guys just watch. I'm going to take a sip real quick while we're doing that. A giant factor in our weather to come this summer is going to be this for the East Coast and this for the West Coast. Probably keep this half of the country dry and this half of the country submerged, very wet. We also, well, let me take the wind off now for a second. We also have other heat plumes as well, not just those. There's this one here at Africa has kind of tapered off a little bit. It used to be a little bit bigger, but there's one there, all down underneath Africa, all these perforations in the crust. Another spot here. We got this area off of Sumatra that's kind of growing in intensity out here. Meantime, we have our relief valve here of Taiwan. And you can see some yellow starting to creep into this area here. Some on the back side of the island. So pressure kind of growing in this region because you see the temperatures growing. That means pressure down below. So we need some earthquake activity out of that region. Meanwhile, hot water growing around Korea here. Not so much South Korea, but North Korea is definitely in hot water. It's inducing, this patch out here is inducing storms to hit the backside of Japan. Pull the wind back up again here. See how we got the vortex over here, but we've had this lashing of, the backside of Japan here from this patch of hot water. And then we got this. Okay, take off the wind again. Okay, back down to Java. You can see cold water's finally leaving the area. It's doing its job. There's still this little spot right here. So a lot of pressure being relieved from Java. Sumatra needs to relieve more pressure because now we're starting to pop out in the ocean there. Look at this region, all starting to fill in. They're going to probably see earthquake activity in here or volcano activity in this region. off of Madagascar. Okay, so all kinds of little areas to watch out for. Now, it's good to come over to this map, learn how to use it. It's the SSTA, stands for sea surface temperature anomaly. Okay. Also, we have our standard sea surface temperatures. Okay. And as you can see, our standard sea surface temperatures are very hot in this region right here, starting to grow, warm in this region. A lot of hot water in there. We're starting to see purple along the coast right there. So you can see this little plume right here that's lighter red, kind of keeping this area not as hot, but it's still pretty warm. So the course of your hurricanes are going to go up through there. They'll gain strength maybe through this zone and lose strength a little bit before they hit the coast. For the meantime, all right. This is a lot of hot water out there real early in the season. So, and then same over here. This area you could see some typhoon action. We have our conveyor belt effect going on. You see hot water right here. This could start lashing China with typhoons. You see the vortexes here. You could see them drop back this way. And you might start seeing China getting hit. You see their flow coming up through here, up through here. Also flow coming up from this rotation at India here. So China's going to get a lot of moisture. All right, let's get out of here, get over to the earthquake report. I'm getting tired. I have to get this done and get to bed. Here we go. Deep quake, mid-range 4 down at 620. That's a really deep quake down at 620. So there's our mid-range 4, usually leaves 5 energy at the surface. Here's a 5.1 at the surface. Our island right here diffuses energy going into the system. So what would be a 5 at the surface will cut back a little bit. We'll see 4.6 at 29 or 26. We'll see a 4.4, stuff like that. Here's a 4.6 at the surface. This is one of our weak spots. It's a 5, and that's down a little deeper. So that's not necessarily energy at the surface. We have little shelf that runs along here. Hopefully there you can see this little shelf structure that runs along here. There's a volcanic island that's on the edge of the shelf. Well, down at the base of this shelf would be the base of this island. So it's the base of a volcano. 5-0, even though it's on this little ledge structure, the magma did come down or come up from down below there. So we're seeing a little bit of movement here at this volcano. We see it. We're seeing earthquake activity at volcano sites. We need something here at Taiwan because we're seeing pressure built up, and so expect to see a quake here pretty soon. Meanwhile, we got 4.7 at the surface there. Now, this is not out on the plate boundary. This is one of your diverse quakes right here. There's no other little features out here. And we got a 5 at the surface. What I want to do, I bet you that's one of our little hot spots. we're kind of in this area, right? Just off of this island, the North Island of Japan, North Island, Japan, out in here. Maybe it's that little cold spot, maybe. Anyways, an odd quake because it's not on, there's no volcano, there's no tectonic plate, and it's at the surface. So there's an odd quake. Your diverse quake, not in a normal area. 4.7 at the surface, fulcrum point quake there. We have 4.8 at the surface, boundary plate boundary quake there. Oh, look at this three-way junction. We have a 5.2 just off the three-way junction here at the surface. We're leaving energy there. So mid-range 4 brings 5 energy to the surface. It's scooting all around the area. Now let's get over here to, we got to finish up South America real quick. Real quick here. 4.5 at 41, 4.0 at 235, 4.2 at 147, and give me this fulcrum point 4.1 down at 104. Check the magnitude of stuff in this region. It might jump a little bit. 3.2. Okay, so we were seeing mid-range 2. It's bumped up to 3 in that area. So we did see a little jump of magnitude in that area. Now, when we get to this, is going to be interesting here. Okay, so we left off there. Coming in. Now, no more fulcrum point quakes because we see a lot of pressure being relieved at the Kamchatka there. Meanwhile, we have earthquake activity around volcanic islands here. There's 3 right there. There's a little 1.7. They're not big ones, but they're earthquake activity at volcanic sites. Here, got a little weak spot. 4.6 down at 43. 4.3 down at 35. Something going on down underneath this structure right here. Okay, diverse quick out here in the middle of nowhere. 2.7 down at 15. Another quake at a volcanic site. More quakes at volcanoes. All right, let's pull back a little bit. Our biggest one right here was 4.3. 2.1 and 2.2. Okay, so some 2 magnitude energy made it up to here. That one's a 2.0, so like 2 energy coming in to this area. Little bit of activity here. 1.4. Nothing at Rainier today, but volcanic earthquake activity at a volcano here. Microquakes here at Mount St. Helens. Just little minor quakes, little tiny ones out here. Baker City, Oregon. Loman, Idaho. But they're not very big. Meanwhile, we had this pressure coming in, 2.0 magnitude pressure coming down. This is an odd quake. That's a 3.9 at the surface. You see this structure right here? You know what that is, right? Right in there is your 4.0. You know what we do with 0.9s at this place, right? So we had a 4 out on this fissure that leads into the Juan de Fuca 2.7. So the 2 energy that came in down the Juan de Fuca, set off 2.7 right there. Also another fulcrum point quake, kind of, because it comes off of this fulcrum. Come here. This straight line. Energy wants to continue to go in a straight line. This turning right here, it wants to continue inland. So it does. And it puts a quake right there, 2.4. So the energy that was coming in, like 2 energy came over the top, but there was some energy inside the plate, inside here. See this and this are inside the plate. Therefore, there's stuff going on here at Hawaii. 2.7s, 2.4s, 2.4. So not microquakes. These are, mid-range 2s. They're not, that you can't feel them that much, but they're releasing a lot of energy in that area right there. And even one off of the island, there's a 2, 2.7. So Hawaii having some of the venting activity going on too, because there's pressure underneath the Pacific plate. It's coming out there, right there, and right there. All right, there's your earthquake report. Let's close out some of these instruments. Do our volcano report. You guys hanging in there? Oh, good. Oh, there you are. We had to reboot the computer, all sorts of wonderful stuff tonight, and then I come back and all my things are rearranged. So, hey, look, that's you guys. That's you guys. They're all knights at the round table. All right, here we go. Today, July 3rd already, Nevada del Ruiz. All right, here we go. Sakurajima, not identifiable satellite imagery. That's too bad. Try harder next time. IBU or Ibu, 14,000 foot blast out of that. Luatobi, 7,000. Semaru, 15. Semaru busting out its maximum potential, 15,000. Dukono, 9. Semaru is going to have to find a higher level because that's our main relief valve. 15,000 foot blast every day is not enough. It's going to have to reach higher. Dukono, 9,000 feet. Nevada del Ruiz. Sabancaya, 20,000. Remember yesterday we saw what 28 and 30,000 out of Sabancaya in Peru. So, where we see all the purple along the coast there, that's a lot of pressure being relieved by Sabancaya there, 20,000 feet. That's low for Sabancaya. It was 28 and 30 the last couple of days. All right, now let's get into the second. So, Etna in Sicily, spectacular activity continues inside Etna's central summit crater. So, Etna, currently erupting, has magma oozing out of it. Why? Well, because of the pressure down below. You can come over and finish reading that whole article. I want to get into Sakurajima, 7,000 feet. All right. 14,000 out of Ibu. Luatobi, 7,000. Semaru, 15 again. Marapi, 10,000. Dukono, 9,000. Fuego, no EMS. Nevada del Ruiz, here we go in Colombia, 19,000. That's a good blast out of that one. 24 out of Sabancaya. So we saw 28, we saw 30, 28, 24, and then 20. So that shows a gradual reduction of pressure. It's venting pressure with 30,000 foot blast, then a 28, then a 24, then a 20. So it's lowering. Okay, and I believe that was it. No list tonight. Okay, good. We need a break from those lists. Ooh, those lists are crazy. Doesn't seem like much to us here, but for your modern day folks that don't watch, that all they watch is mainstream media, if you told somebody that there were 61 active volcanoes right now, somebody that watches mainstream media, they would be like, oh, shut up. No, there isn't. Oh, come on. No. If there was, I'd hear about it on the news. How many times have you heard that one? If there was such a thing, I would hear about it on the news. Oh, you mean the news that only talks about politics? All right, let's get this loaded up. Well, that's going here. This is only going to be accurate. Ugh. Wow, this is interesting. Sorry, I keep yawning. Sleep deprivation can be a bit. I try to sleep, but I feel pain in my sleep. The doctor says that's impossible. Try being me, bud. All right, here we go. This is your current conditions. We still have severe weather in this part of the country. Also, this moisture trailing back. Okay, so when we're looking at these storms, we're not only just looking for severe weather. Where you see green could possibly be flash flooding now. Because when we see these storms, it's a typical thunderstorm. It doesn't set down a tornado, but it puts down 5 or 6 inches of rain that floods places instead. So we got to watch a lot for flash flooding because we're seeing a lot more moisture content in our air. Now, here we go. Current conditions, nighttime of the 2nd, going into the morning of the 3rd. Noon, convection. Again with convection in this region, possibly back up in here. By nighttime, still kind of hanging around a little bit, but not too bad. We go into the morning of the 4th. There's still severe residual effects here in the morning still. Morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime. All right, it's changed since last night for the 4th, but now you're seeing little speckles here, maybe along down in there, little chances for severe weather, so it's important that you take heed. Also, I need to back up and redo the 3rd. If we have a G1 geomagnetic storm hit us, it will enhance the weather starting from right there. If we have a G4, it'll enhance the weather starting from there. Add enhancements. So that might turn out different right there at noon. By convection, this could be enhanced. Okay, it could be a bigger area. It could be more severe. Depending on the center of rotation of this whole low up here, if it moves 5 degrees this way or 5 degrees that way, that could change all this by 100 miles. All right, so we're talking general vicinities, basically, and the potential for severe weather tomorrow afternoon at convection. And at nighttime, with added energy from a G1 storm, we could see potential nocturnal thunderstorms continuing into the night more so than what we see here. Okay, I pray I'm wrong. Okay, I would much rather be wrong than watch people's houses and lives get destroyed. But it's not really about being right or wrong. I'm just trying to give you help in general vicinities, and you're going to see flash flooding. Okay, you're going to see hail. You're going to see other things besides tornadoes too. Okay, lightning. We're going to have to address the lightning issue here in a while. So all enhancement on those parts right there possible. Okay. Now, as we get into the 4th, we just did the 4th. That's noon, convection the 4th, nighttime the 4th. Morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. You see this low. You see it doing this. It's not showing a bunch of nastiness, but the potential's there. Watch it closely, please. That's nighttime of the 5th right there. Then we get into the morning of the 6th. Here comes your hurricane now. Noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 7th is landfall, kind of from the night of the 6th into the morning of the 7th, landfall at Corpus Christi, the body of Christ, with a 975 low. That'll be the noontime of the 7th right there. Convection. Ooh, wait a second. Wait. Oh, no. Okay, when the hurricane comes up, it's bringing moisture that's out in front of it as well. Okay, so when we see cold air interact with the moist tropical air that's out in front of this, you see this big fire up like that. That fire up at sundown, at convection, is not good. The nighttime. All right, this right here is what I'm concerned about. This convection nighttime interaction right here on the 7th. That's the morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. This produced a thunderstorm, a nasty storm out in front of it, and then goes and gobbles up its own moisture and keeps this thing pretty strong over land a little longer. Okay, usually they weaken when they hit land because there's no other water influence. But here we have this intense thunderstorm, and they merge. Whoops. And that'll keep this strong and going as it continues to go up into Texas there. So let's go back here. This is the nighttime of the 7th. The pinch off right there. Look back a little bit. Convection the 7th. The severe weather right here in Nebraska. You people in Nebraska, back here in Missouri, this bullseye right here, I would seriously take note on the 7th. I would seriously watch your weather. If you live in this area, I would get out of there. I mean, I know people can't just pick up and leave, but maybe you could go to the neighboring town and stay at a motel with, treat yourself to an overnight vacation in a motel in another town or something like that. Because that, going into Oklahoma too. All right, I pray that changes, but there's your convection the 8th, nighttime the 8th, morning of the 9th. Morning of the 9th there, you guys. Noontime, convection. You see all this rain coming in behind the hurricane. Mind you, the hurricane just hit. Now you got a bunch of rain and another low. You see this? This would have been a second hurricane right here. That's the nighttime of the 9th. Morning of the 10th. It actually intensifies as it hits land. Boom. Right in the same spot. Morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning. This could be a devastating long track maxi tornado effect going up right through Texas right there. I pray that changes, but we all seen the flow. I showed you the flow coming up through this region. So most of this is kind of out there. This is going to be the 13th, morning of the 13th, noon, convection, nighttime, 14 noon, convection nighttime, 15 noon, convection nighttime, 16 noon, convection nighttime, 17 noon, convection nighttime, 18 convection nighttime. Okay, so you kind of see this almost repeating type weather factor going on here. Now add hurricane to it, and we get those little pinch off effects. See the second one come in too? We could possibly later on entertain the 1-2 punch like this at Texas, because that's where the flow is going through, is right up through Texas, right? So you're going to see, if we had that conveyor belt going, you'd see 1, 2, and then a third would come in here, right down there, and then a fourth, and it would just be over and over and over again in that region. And we're already getting a little taste of it. You see that? That's what's happening right now. So we're starting to get a little taste of this flow of that conveyor belt system. And what it's going to do is bring a lot of moisture into Texas right there. You're just going to see storms hitting Texas like that. If you guys live in Texas and you live on the coast, make some good decisions, okay? All right, so there we go. There's all of our reporting done now. Hopefully it wasn't too disturbing. It can be, but we got the spiritual report now to do, and we're going to put all that stuff behind us now, okay? So Xing out of all of these pages. Say goodbye to the earthquakes. Say goodbye to the hot water anomaly. Say goodbye to the UFOs and all that stuff. We are going to a different realm. The realm of peace. Okay, and pull up a few images real quick. After an ad. Oh, so that's what you do at work all day, huh? Mm-hmm. He wasn't working. He was playing video games. All right. Here's my face out by the moon, you guys. This is me. What I've been through has been quite an ordeal. The physical, spiritual, and mental torture, all three at the same time for long period of time now, would probably drive some of you guys a little out of your minds. Let's see, where am I trying to go here? I want that image. I want to pull up something from my channel as well. Hopefully you guys have found some stuff at my channel. You can go digging around. There's all kinds of stuff here. This is 3 years ago. I was reporting on this activity 3 years ago when nobody else, still nobody else. We have Wages World. He does a good job at it. I like Mark. We'll get the theater mode right there. Okay, so there's my face in the sky on Easter. This event happened over my head on Easter. I took all kinds of photos of it. We got the group here that knows, so. Oh. Really, the heart one, okay. We're going to pull up that one with the heart, too, because, you said to. We saw that heart around the sun, didn't we? Well, let me show you where all this stuff comes from. All this stuff, all these faces in the sky, all these events in the clouds, all of it are emanating from Jesus' heart. Okay? You see him pulling open his shirt here? Let's get just a tad bit more zoomed in here. That's better right there. Okay. This is real clouds. Okay. To hold my camera up and take these pictures is excruciatingly painful because I have a shattered shoulder. All right. The pain goes up my back, up into my neck, and into my head, give you a migraine headache so bad you can't focus your vision. So, these images were captured with a lot of pain involved as well. Okay. So, here we got these guys capturing my face out by the moon. Here we got my face in the clouds on Easter with a crown over it. And then here we have my face being projected by Jesus' heart is my face. So when you seek my face, you're seeking Jesus' heart. Okay? His heart is my face. All right, cool. So you guys are getting it. What else did you want me to just start reading, huh? Okay, I guess we're gonna just start reading. I've got a lot to cover tonight, so let me get my light going here. Oh, good night, Leslie. Let me lull you to sleep with my voice. You can lay your head down and close your eyes and know that you're going to be okay. I feel sorry for some other people that are expecting the rapture, to do this and to do that, and they're missing out on it. They're missing out because they were expecting rapture. No word rapture is in the Bible. It talks about being caught up in the clouds. Caught up means interested, intrigued, like caught up in a good book, right? Okay. So, you are looking at my face in the clouds here. You're caught up with me in the clouds. Okay, this is me in the clouds, and it's fascinating to you. You like it. You like to learn from it. You're caught up. Everybody else is waiting for Hollywood to do the rapture for them. Right? Well, unfortunately, not going to happen that way. It happens this way instead. So, look at that. Hear my voice, and know I am the God who makes you strong, who makes you strong. I am the God who makes you strong, who makes your pathway safe. So come to me just as you are, with all your sins and weaknesses. Confess your sins and ask me to remove them as far as the east is from the west. That means completely, okay? It's important you confess your sins because you're releasing the stress in your mind. You're stressing about all this stuff that you've kept secret or that's bugging you. So when you confess it, it relieves the stress in your mind. You're confessing to me. I already know. So you might as well confess. It's not so I get to hear it. It's for your mental health. Okay, good. You guys are getting this. So, I am indeed the God who makes you strong, who makes your pathway safe. I want you to come to me just as you are, with all your sins and weaknesses. You confess your sins. You ask me to remove them. I do. I remove them as far as the east is from the west when you confess them. Then stay in my presence with your inadequacies in full view. Okay? Go ahead and leave them in full view. Don't hide your inadequacies because then they're inadequacies. When they're in full view, you're not too worried about them anymore. So stay in my presence with your inadequacies in full view. Ask me to infuse strength into you, seeing your weaknesses as jars that are ready to be filled with my power. Okay, your weaknesses, look at them as jars that I fill up. Okay, you only have so much strength and you need it, and I'm the one that fills up that jar of strength. So ask me to infuse strength into you, seeing your weaknesses as jars that are ready to be filled with my power. Then thank me for your insufficiency that helps you keep depending on me. Okay, that's our relationship. Your insufficiency depending on me, I come back and I help you. That's our relationship. You thank me for that relationship, for your insufficiency that helps you keep depending on me. When you're doing that, rejoice in my infinite sufficiency, because I can keep giving and supplying and supplying. Infinite sufficiency. That's another aspect of me that I do. Okay? I am the one who makes your pathway safe. This includes protection from worry and excessive planning. Oh boy, how many of us have been doing that? Worrying and excessive planning. Well, not so much now that you've practiced some of these disciplines that I'm trying to teach you. You have found protection from worry and excessive planning. So instead of gazing into the unknown future, try to be mindful of me as you journey through this day. Remember, remain in communication with me, letting my guiding presence keep you on course. Okay, my guiding presence. Remain in communication, letting my guiding presence keep you on course. I will go before you as well as beside you, clearing away obstacles on the path just ahead. So trust me to make conditions on your pathway the very best for you. When anxiety is when it feels great within you, turn to me for consolation. Other words for consolation are comfort, compassion, empathy, help, encouragement, reassurance, and relief. All of those are consolation. It's a combination. When you're here, you should feel at comfort. When you're here, you should feel my compassion. I have empathy on you. I went before you, so I know the tools to help you. I see your growth, so I encourage you. There's encouragement. You see results of your discipline, so there's reassurance, and now your trials and tribulations have become opportunities for growth, which provides relief. You guys are actually getting relief by knowing that your tribulation is for growth. So no longer are you stressing so much, you're finding relief. You're finding consolation, comfort, compassion, empathy, help, encouragement, reassurance, and relief. And I gladly provide all of this and much, much more for my children, for my believers, for my followers. I gladly provide all of that comfort, compassion, empathy, encouragement, reassurance, relief for my children. Now, your natural tendency when you're feeling anxious is to focus on yourself or your problems. The more you do this, the more you forget about me and all the help I can supply. This worldly focus only increases your anxiety. Oh, did you know that your worldly focus increases your anxiety? So let the discomfort you feel at such times alert you to your neglect of me. You just forgot about me. It's okay. It's all right. There's so much going on. Let the discomfort you feel at such times alert you to remember me. Whisper my name. Invite me into your difficulties. Okay? Invite me into your difficulties. Seek my face, finding comfort in my compassion and empathy. Look to me for encouragement, reassurance, and help. I know all about your problems, and I also know the best way to deal with them. So take a deep breath, and as you relax in my loving presence, I strengthen you and provide relief from your anxiety. I reassure you that nothing in all creation can separate you from my love. I reassure you, nothing will separate you from my love. My consolation is full of blessings. It brings joy to your soul, doesn't it? Hopefully, it brings joy to your soul. That should be what we're doing here. If not, keep trying. Okay, don't give up. Some people, it takes a little longer. Others get it right away. Some people have harder issues and stuff to deal with. So it takes a little bit longer. We all grow at different rates. Okay. Again, seek my face, finding comfort in my consolation, in my compassion, empathy, reassurance, and relief. My consolation is indeed full of blessings. It does bring joy to your soul. So give up the illusion of being in control of your life. When things are going smoothly, it's easy to feel as if you're in charge. The more you perceive yourself as your own master, and the more comfortable you become in this role, the harder you will fall. So give up the illusion of being in control. The more you perceive yourself as your own master, the more comfortable you become in that role, the harder it is and the harder you will fall. Because I want you to enjoy times of smooth sailing and be thankful for them. But don't become addicted to this sense of mastery over your life, and don't consider it the norm. Storms will still come, and uncertainties will still loom on the horizon. So if you cling to control and feel entitled to having things go your way, you're likely to sink when difficulties come. Okay? You're gonna sink if you're relying on your own. I am training you to trust in me at all times. When you do that, I am your refuge. I use adversity to set you free from the illusion of being in control, the delusion of being in control. Okay? I use adversity to set you free from the illusion of being in control. So when your circumstances and your future are full of uncertainties, look to me. So let's ask you right now, does your future, is it full of uncertainties right about now? With hurricanes coming, conveyor belt working, politicians failing, wars going, boy, I would say you guys' future is full of uncertainties, but not when you look to me. So, when your circumstances and your future are full of uncertainties, look to me. Find your security in knowing me. Find your security in knowing me, the master who is sovereign over the storms of your life, over everything. Is that what I close with? No, I closed that. Okay, so here comes more. Remember, find your security in knowing me. You're getting to know me here at this channel. Okay? Find security in that, in knowing me, the master who is sovereign over the storms of your life and over everything. So living in close communication with me can be a foretaste of heaven. This is this right here, listening to the show and looking at that image, is close communication with me, isn't it? You are living in close communication with me, and it is a foretaste of heaven. You're looking at a foretaste of heaven right there. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. Pretty cool. Living in close communication with me is your foretaste of heaven. It's wonderful, but it requires a level of spiritual and mental concentration that's extremely challenging. In the Psalms, David wrote about this wonderful way of living, declaring that he had set me always before him. As a shepherd, he had plenty of time to seek my face and enjoy my presence. He discovered the beauty of days lived with me, always before him, next to him, beside him. He discovered that. That's what you guys are doing. Okay? David discovered the beauty of days lived with me. Okay? Now your days are with me. Have you discovered the beauty that David did? Because he discovered the beauty of days lived with me, always before him and beside him. Like right now, I went before you and I'm beside you. You're much like David, declaring that he had set me always before him. He discovered the beauty of days lived with me. So many people are missing out on the beauty of days lived with me. It makes my heart break. But I am training you to live this way, too, to enjoy the beauty of days lived with me. It's an endeavor. It's an endeavor that requires persistent effort and determination. Yet rather than detracting from what you're doing, your closeness to me will fill your activities with vibrant life. Your closeness to me will fill your activities with vibrant life. And whatever you do, do it for me, with me. Okay, do it with me. Whatever you do it for me, do it with me, do it through me, do it in me. Whatever you do it for me, with me, through me, in me. Even menial tasks will glow with the joy of my presence when you do them for me. Ultimately, nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate you from me. This is so delightful for you and I together to adventure. This delightful you and I together adventure can continue throughout eternity. It will continue throughout eternity. Let's see. Never mind my face. Look at that heart right there. Look at that heart right there, you guys. It's consolation. And don't be afraid, for I am close beside you, guarding, guiding all the way. Though I am always with you, you're often unaware of my presence. Fear can I need a sip here. It's fear can provide a wake-up call to your heart, alerting you to reconnect with me. What alerts you to reconnect with me? Fear. Fear can provide the wake-up call to your heart, alerting you to reconnect with me. When you feel your anxiety rising, take time to relax and let the light of my presence shine upon you and within you. As you rest in the warmth of my love light, that cold, hard fear will start to melt away. I am going to melt away your cold, hard fear with my warm love light. So, as you rest in the warmth of my love light, that cold, hard fear will start to melt away. Respond to my love by affirming your love for me. Hey, I love you. Oh, I love you back. Whew, that easy. Respond to my love by affirming your love for me and your trust in me. Because when you trust in me, all of a sudden, that's where the light of my presence shines upon you. When you trust me. Remember that I am guarding and guiding. Okay? Remember that I am a guarding and guiding God. If you knew how much harm I protect you from, you would be astonished. The most important protection I provide is to guard your soul, which is eternal. Because you are my follower, your soul is secure in me, and no one can snatch you out of my hand. Okay? I lead you as you go along your path toward heaven, and I will be your guide even to the end. Sure love you guys. I miss you guys. How come he always says that I miss you? You never seen me. You never met me. How could you miss me? Did you ever notice that? I always say I miss you guys. Because I do. I love you. I miss you. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And I'm so happy for you guys. I am so happy that you're finally finding that peace that transcends everything. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. Love y'all. Bye.